Dear friends of the Violetraysgarage, today I would like to introduce you a super buy that I did from France. My seller in France told me, oh, this device is wonderful and it will work like a charm. And when it came, it did not work, but not the slightest working. And therefore I decided to open the device, and I was astonished to see what was the first problem. The first problem is that somebody cut the cables here, as you see, and one cable was missing. Only the handle was there, and the cable for the handle and the other line cable wasn't there anymore. So what a nice, perfectly working device that I got. Now I decided to do the repairs, and I would like to join me in the thoughts and observations and strategies that I am doing if I am repairing such a device. The next thing that I do is I check the handle. The handle is truly important because it's one of the parts that is extremely difficult to replace if it is damaged, because in the old technology there is a lot of very thin wire that is isolated, and there is layers of insulation paper between the layers of the wire, and if this mixture gets too hot, the coils can be damaged heavily. So it is absolutely important, if you get a device first, that you have a look at the coil, if there are any traces of burning through or molten wax or something. But in this case, this looks really, really good, with one exception. And as you see here, there is a spare room for one additional cable. And this is a grounding cable. We have two holes here. One is for the neutral and one is for the work load, and they are both connected to the primary windings of this coil, and the grounding is missing here. And my question was, where has the grounding been? Where did it disappear? And you see here what real experts are, what they are doing with grounding cables. Here the grounding cable is glued inside the head of this Tesla coil, and it took me a lot of time to get the rests of this cable out and to take the glue out so that I could rewire this handle. For the Holo Electron handles there is a rule. This means 3 wires are coming from the box and 3 wires are going out of the head of this Tesla coil. This means 3 wires have to appear at the head of this Tesla coil here. And the third wire is often forgotten, and the third wire is under this metal ring. There is a hole in the handle where you can push this wire through, and then you push the metal ring over it again. But this will be a new video. Just wanted to talk about the strategies here. Okay. Now, these have been the defects that I could see on the first side. One defect I stopped immediately because rewiring this handle. And now this is what I always do. I take out the capacitors. Here, this Holo Electron had 2 capacitors over each other. I already disassembled one of them, and this is a standard task what you do in every case. So now for the repair strategies. In my first attempts, the device did not work, and I did not understand what is the reason. So I first wanted to know if the device has an intact kicker coil. This is a copper coil that you see if you open the machine. And my strategy for checking the kicker coil is there are 2 wires from the cable coming from the line. And the one wire I connect directly to the tank of this Holo Electron. This is the bolt that I marked for you. Here I connect the line with the tank. The other connection I do is I connect the incoming working load with the electronical ballast that Holo Electron is implementing in their devices. This means the electronical ballast reduces the incoming 230 volt to around 150, maybe 120 to 150 volt, so that the kicker coil does not burn through. The kicker coil are very small. There is not a lot of wire in them, and I think they wanted to save some material, and therefore they had this load reduction implemented here. So in some of these Holo electrons, the load reduction, the electronical ballast is here at the side of the kicker coil, but here it is a direct connection, and this is here where we solder our workload, and then we plug in the device, and now we should hear a hum. If everything okay, the Wagnerian hammer should hum, and we should hear this this lovely sound that we like so much and see the violet light. So this is the first check that I'm doing. Now I unplug the device again. Very typical for Holo electrons is the interrupteur. That is a technology that is like a clock that is running down, and the Holo electron devices only work if this clock is set. If the clock is not set, there is an interruption in the circuit. So if you set the clock, there is no interruption, and if the clock is running down and then makes click, then the interruption is there again. This technology is called interrupteur, and it's I think Holo Electron is very proud of this technology. So the first thing that I do to check if everything after this interrupteur is okay is that I let the workload connect to the electronical ballast, what I did before, and the other that was connected to the tank, I connect it here to this place which is numbered 1. This is bridging. This means bridging the interrupteur. And now I plug the device in again and everything should work. So I know there is no mistake after the interrupteur. Now I want to check the interrupter directly. This means that I change nothing but just take the wire that I connected to 1, I connect it to 2. This means this is the entrance of the interrupter, and if everything is working well, the Wagnerian hammer will be hearable if you now set the clock and you hear that humming. If you have this connection and you set the clock and you don't hear the hammer, then you now can be sure that the interrupteur has a damage. Okay, this is the second strategy that I am using. Now, a third strategy is maybe there is a defect in the handle. Defects in the handle are very complicated to find out. So the easiest thing that you can do, connect your handle to a working device and see what happens. The hope is that the handle is not damaged, and if you connect it to another device, that it fires. Here I have connected my older Holo Electron. I have connected it here, as you can see, with the cable for the handle of the new Holo Electron to find out if there is a problem in the handle or not. And it really worked good. There was no problem in the handle. So I was happy. I connected everything. I made it fixed. I soldered the connections and I checked everything if it's working or not. And now really at the end we have a big success, as you see here. The mushroom electrode is glowing. Everything is okay. So this one here is for you, Edith, in Switzerland. And my thank goes to Fleur de la Cour, which was borrowing me her magic wand. And I wish you all a nice afternoon and good success with your Holo Electrons.